Yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot over, the last couple of weeks, honestly. The struggles haven't just started, yesterday. Uh, I think the main thing when you look at it as a player is, this is our team in a sense, right? We talk about player-led teams. We talk about, it's our team, it's our legacy, it's our opportunity. And I think the main thing for us is just going to be unity, right? We gotta, come together as a team and say, hey, what the hell do we want? This offense to be? What do we need to do to fix this offense? What do we need to do to, go on a run here? Like, people are acting like it's the end of the world. We're 4-5, right? Every team has to go on a run to make the playoffs at some point. Uh, and obviously it's one game at a time, but we got a lot of big conference games coming up. And I think as a unit and as a team, we just got to, uh, really come together and make a decision, right? Are we going to sit here and throw in the towel and act like it's the end of the world, or we're going to come together as a team and stop making excuses or whatever the hell's going on from game to game, play to play, and get it fixed. And knowing the guys we have in this building, I got a good feeling that that's something we can do. I got a good feeling we can come together and be what we want to be.
As this touchdown drought has gone on, the heat keeps getting turned up more on Zach, obviously. What do you say to those who believe he's the problem?
Man, I would just say you watch the film, right? And football is the greatest team game in the world, right? It's never one person's fault. You could go look at every play and you can look at, whether it's a missed block or a penalty or a drop or um, whatever it may be. Like, we all, everybody always has a hand in a play being successful, a drive being successful, a touchdown being scored, or whatever it may be. And it never just falls on one person, right? It never falls on just Zach. It never falls on just Coach Hack. It never falls on just Coach Sala. It falls on all of us. And I think that kind of goes back to, what I was saying is, looking inward and the unity part of us coming together and, making a decision of what we want to be, because it's not just one person's fault.
Tyler, when you look at how well your defense is playing right now, I don't mean this in any disrespect to you guys on offense, but are there any moments when, because you recognize how good it's been, for this, I mean, last year and this year, that you're concerned that the offensive's inability to produce is kind of wasting what the defense is doing on its side of the field.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be silly to not acknowledge that in a sense, right? I think we got, one of the top defense, if not the top defense in the league. I think, all the times they've talked about being like the '85 Bears and the 2000 Ravens and stuff. I mean, they've lived up to all that talk, and they are a great defense. So if we can't figure it out, I mean, it is in a sense wasting a really special defense. So, I mean, I think, like we talked about earlier, it is. On us now to come together as an offense and make sure we don't, waste the special groups that we have on the other side of the ball.
Tyler, the penalties obviously have been a big problem for the last 5 games. You guys have committed at least 8 or more penalties in a contest. You mentioned it being corrected in practice, but after a certain point, when we're in a month sort of stretch of just a lot of penalties being called, what's the disconnect there between what you guys are working on in practice and what's being presented in the game?
There's always different kind of penalties, right? You got pre-snap penalties and things like that just tend to fall on more of a focus error, more of a mental thing. And you have stuff that happens within the play, like, holdings and, whatever it may be, pass interference. Like, sometimes you got to live with those things, and sometimes there's, egregious, but you got to play fast. You got to be who you are and do your best in every single play. So stuff is going to happen, but I don't think there's a disconnect between practice and the game. I think it's obviously, if you're called on a holding or a pass interference or something, obviously you go into practice working on not holding and having your hands inside, and you work on not, being too handsy when you're in coverage. So, I mean, I don't think it's something you need to overthink and, reinvent the wheel to fix. I think it's just something that we really got to lock into, and it's probably more mental than anything.